The climate crisis is not a calculation error. It's actually the direct result of a system that needs to grow by burning energy and matter. And when the atmosphere starts to collapse, the dominant response is not to reduce fossil production, it's to turn the atmosphere itself into a commodity. And this is where the carbon credits come from. But a carbon credit is not carbon. It is an accounting right to keep emitting, which can be purchased somewhere else. So in practice, the system says this: 1 ton of CO2 emitted from oil or coal can be offset by a forest in another country. But fossil carbon and biological carbon are not equivalent, because fossil carbon was locked underground for millions of years, and forest carbon is unstable, reversible, and can return to the atmosphere at any time. And that's create that thing called net zero. So you keep emitting today and promise to compensate somewhere else on the planet. But the problem is that climate science is clear. Fossil emissions are cumulative. Offset capacity is limited. So in practice, net zero works as a license to pollute. And when we look at the data, the picture gets worse, because studies show that most forest carbon projects do not reduce deforestation in a measurable way, and baselines are inflated, future scenarios are exaggerated, and the credits issued do not correspond to real emission reductions. And at the same time, territories in the global south become financial assets, and in the Amazon forest, carbon projects already overlap public lands, settlements, and indigenous territories, so the forest becomes financial collateral, and communities become obstacles, so this is not a climate solution. It's actually the financialization of the crisis. But history makes this clear. The Montreal Protocol solved the ozone crisis by banning substances. It did not create a market to offset CFCs, for example. But climate policy, they chose the opposite path, and global emissions keep rising. And if this question is serious, the answer must be serious too, because there is no climate transition without cutting fossil production at the source. And there is no solution that treats the atmosphere as a commodity. So the climate crisis will not be solved by accounting. It will be solved by political decisions, direct regulation, and structural change.